So a funny line, when you're like running it through the thrasher,
Yes.
how do you know? Do you have to be in front of people to
No.
get the thing, or do you have an innate sense, a gut sense that this will fly?
Over time, you trust your inner voice, and this is where stage time comes in. Stage time, stage time, stage time. This is a trade, stand up.
Yeah.
It's like carpentry. The first hammer, an apprentice picks up, he doesn't build a mansion. You have to put your time in. But as it doesn't get easier to write the material, but you do trust that voice. You do trust that belly fire that lets
Sure.
you know you're on the right track.
Well, you said before, comedy is the longest apprenticeship in the world.
There you go.
Pretty much.
It's so true, But you do get confidence, and you do get this sort of self-assurance that you're on the right track. And I mean, my head writer, Gary Campbell, wrote for, 10 years in Los Angeles, wrote for Mad TV and Roseanne Barr and Jeff Foxworth. And he said, look, I still come to the work with a sense of humility. I know how I can get from point A to point B, but that inspiration, that little soul note, that spark that you get, you still have to trust it. It's still a mystery.
Of course, Louise Arbour was in town recently, and I said this to somebody before, but
Who's that?
Louise Arbour, Supreme Court,
Oh yes.
up the rail there. Louise Arbour, amazing woman.
Not as smart as Vic Tays, I'm sure.
No, not that smart.
Because
No,
I
gosh.
certainly want the judicial system in the hands of a philandering,
course.
family values pig farmer from Manitoba.
Of course, and she's a big wig in crisis intervention and all
Brilliant.
of that. And she
That's
said,
the
and she
people we
hangs
need.
with people like, world leaders.
My.
Like Putin and those. I don't mean she hangs with Putin, but she knows them all. So she said, apparently Golda Meir said to Moshe Dayan, don't be so humble. You're not that great. So they laugh in the high circles too.
Great.
Isn't that
what
a
a
good
great
line?
that is.
I know. Maybe you could use it. Why
Be
not?
so humble, you're not so great.
Don't be so humble. You're not that great.
Fantastic.
I'm going to use it too. Why
That's
not?
good, huh?
Why not? So tell me about the LA years. And I know you have before, but everybody doesn't watch every day. So when you went to Wonky Town before Kim Kardashian hit
Oh.
the screen.
We went down once again with Second City. We created a series, and we sold it to Ronnie Howard's company, and it was canceled. And I was out of work for like a year, trying to get some work, and all of us hit the wall at different times down there. And I was in Newsweek. Our pictures were in Newsweek on Tuesday. We were canceled on Thursday. And Monday, I was pulling a tree out of Robert Urick's front yard with my buddy's pool digging company. And Robert Urick, God bless him, he walked out the front door, and my buddy said, "How you doing, Bob?" He points to me in the hole. He said, "This is my friend Ron. He's an actor too."
You have had some odd jobs.
But you have to stay the course. And you have to keep your eyes on the prize over time.
Yes.
And everybody's got their stories of sacrifice and struggle. And I'm not unique in that respect. But it's what you get out of it. It's like Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. And you just got to keep doing that. And the universe reinforces that.
Very much so. Vincent Lam is coming on tomorrow, and he's written his first novel. He's an emergency physician in Toronto, if you ever need help medically, maybe with those knees.
All right.
Not sure. But he's a brilliant writer. Great writer. Won the Geller for a nonfiction.
Where does
or
he find the
something.
time to do something like that?
That's what the question is. But he said, do you know a writer that doesn't have another job? And I think his parents said to him, look, you want to make money or you want to be successful, don't think you're going to be like an actor or a writer or a creative cat. Get a medical degree.
Get a medical degree first.
Yeah.
Something to fall back on.
Sure, what
Be a brilliant
artist?
surgeon.
Right. What
Yeah.
artist hasn't heard that?
That's
From
true.
the parents.
That's true. They do want you to have some kind of security, right? But security comes from, once again, following your bliss. And if you make mammon your God, if you make money your God, then you're always going to be disappointed because there's going to be somebody who's going to have more than you. And if that's your goal, then
Marry it.
yeah, marry it. There.
Why
I don't have
not?
that choice.
No, those
There weren't
Real
a lot of-
Housewives, apparently they do.
Aren't they a piece of work, the
Aren't they?
Vancouver
I'm
Housewives,
saying.
right? Yeah. Speaking of money, there's a lot of collagen treatment going into a set of those lips.
You notice.
One of the women on the show looks like she'll never eat a bowl of soup again.
Well,
I wanted to chuck her a smelt, the poor thing.
somebody said to me, you can land a 747 on those lips. So let's take a break.
I'm sure that's how she landed her husband. I'm sorry, I went there.
No, we don't know.
I did it. I went
we
there.
don't know.
I
You
went
will
there.
go there in the show, though. I bet you will. You
What?
can't leave out.
That's the last place you can be free, is on stage. You know, and it hasn't changed in 1,000 years.
And do you get sued? Have you ever been sued?
No.
Do comedians get sued very often?
Well, look, you have to be progressive. You can't be an intolerant, misogynist knob up there.
Right.
And if you do say it, you are going to suffer the ramifications
Sure.
of that. You
Sexism,
know?
racism.
All that.
No.
All that stupid stuff. You know,
Right.
that has no place, as far as I'm concerned, in the way that you articulate the message. And it's not just about me; it's about all of us. And that's the way I've always looked at the work. Is that the comedian's job is to connect the dots and make sense of the chaos we're all walking through, and kind of lighten the load and the life journey.
Sure.
To carry the knapsack for a while when he's on stage for the 90 minutes to 2 hours.
And you often wonder, if I was a black comedian, could I make fun of blacks easier than if I was a white comedian?
Oh, yeah, well, that's
making
just-
fun of the blacks, or do those rules hold anymore?
I think they do. You know, people still get in trouble for insensitive remarks. Tracy Morgan got, and rightfully so. That was just insensitive and uncalled for, that remark. And I know that, in America, because they have 350 million people,
Right.
you can pick a section and still have 70 million people following you. And that's why that country can sustain and act as different as Larry the Cable Guy and Bill Maher, right?
Yeah.
But
Bill
with
Maher
30
said, religion bad, drugs good. He did.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Religion bad, drugs
Drugs
good.
good.
Well, there you
Great,
go.
Bill. Okay, well, whatever.
Well, if you're going to fill theaters in a country of 32 million people, I think you have to be affably subversive.
Well, didn't he do that religious?
Religiosity.
You say it.
Religiosity, but here's the difference, I think. America was sired by revolution, by the blood and smoke and conflict and fire. And Canada was sired by consensus. And I think the foundation myth of America, despite the Patriot Act that George Bush abolished, I mean, you abolished the right to habeas corpus. You suspend a man's right to habeas corpus, pretty soon you're suspending that very man by the prunes. But in Canada, we were developed through consensus and compromise. And the deference for the rebel voice of tipping the apple cart just really doesn't exist here.
I know, I get it, because I was raised there, and I puzzle over the universal health care resistance. We'll come back with Ron James.